Hi, I'm Gary Kirsch from Birdingandmore.com. I'm just getting ready to go on a photo shoot in the outdoors. I'll be shooting primarily wildlife and birds, and I thought this was a good opportunity to try and consider all of the things I might want to take with me on the shoot. These are things that I'm going to want to carry with me actually while I'm on the trails and in the bush taking photographs. Obviously, whenever you're going to go on a shoot, your clothing is important, and you need to dress for whatever conditions you're going to be going into. In the summertime, this includes putting on sunscreen, insect repellent for protection against mosquitoes and ticks. You might want to get yourself a wide-brimmed hat. I like that idea. And one thing I've started to use lately are eyeglasses with UV protection. For any of you photographers that have never tried this sort of thing, I can tell you that it doesn't impede your capabilities in any way when it comes to photography, but does a very good job of protecting your eyes, which are quite critical in this hobby. Now, obviously I'm going to take my camera and lens. That'll take care of all of the shooting requirements. But along with that, I've assembled an array of things that I'm going to try and fit into this one small bag and carry with me while I'm shooting. I think this kind of thing is kind of important. In the past it's been a bit haphazard for me, and it's been many times when I've been out on a shoot somewhere wishing there was something that I had right there with me, but I had forgotten either at home or in the car. Now, you don't necessarily have to use a bag. For instance, I like cargo pants and with lots of pockets, and in those pockets you can carry quite a few things. Some people like vests, but I was thinking, wouldn't it be great to have a bag with all of the things you need in the bag ahead of time, so that if you have to make a quick trip out, that it doesn't take you very long before you've got everything you need ready to go. So I found this small camera bag, and we're going to see if all this stuff will actually fit in here. One of the first things that I'm going to be taking and thinking about taking is a wide-angle lens. In case I come across a great looking landscape to shoot, or anything which requires wide angle, I'm not going to be restricted just to my telephoto lens. I'm going to have this wide-angle lens available, so I'm taking that with me. I'm going to take a spare battery. I highly recommend that. You never want to be caught out, miles from your car and your battery dies. Also, a spare memory card. If you're like me and you shoot hundreds of pictures each shoot, it's easy to fill one of these up, and it's good to have a spare one along. I'm also going to take a lens cleaning pen. These are fantastic for cleaning dust or smudges off of your lens. There's been many a time I've been out shooting, and during the shoot I'll just check the end of the lens and see that there's dust particles or other things there, and I want to make sure I've got the proper tool to do that cleaning right there on the spot. So I'm going to take that along as well. In terms of survival, I think having a compass with you when you go in the bush is important. I've got one attached right to this bag already. And what is also good, I think, is to take a cell phone, fully charged cell phone. A lot of times you're going to be in places where signal is weak. Sometimes I go to places where there is no signal. But 90% of the time I can find some sort of signal, and this, if I was ever in peril, is going to be my number one most important item in my bag. So I'm taking a cell phone, and that's for sure. Carabiners. For those who don't know what they are, they look like this. They're metal hooks with sprung gates. I think mountain climbers use these sort of things. They're very good for clipping something to something else, and I find this is very handy. So I'm going to take a couple of carabiners along. Here's an example of where one would be used. This is a holder for a water bottle, and I think water is an absolute essential when you're going out on a shoot. Obviously, if you get thirsty, but if you ever do get lost, having some water would be a good idea. This I attach to a belt loop with one of these carabiners. It's like that. It just is attached, and I carry it with me when I'm on the shoot. The other thing I think is important to take along is some snacks. Now, this is kind of more of a luxury than anything else, but if you're like me, you might develop headaches if you go long periods of time without water or food. I know I do. So it's great to have a snack and some water along, just so that you don't have to deal with that. Another good item is a rain sleeve. This is one that I carry. It's a fantastic thing. If in the event that it rains, you can put your camera and lens right in this rain sleeve, and you can actually carry on shooting. It provides that kind of protection. I don't like to shoot in the rain, so I don't use it very often for that purpose, but it gives me great peace of mind if I'm ever out and the weather turns against me, that I can slip my gear inside this plastic and feel like it's better protected. I also, in the wintertime, take along a Ziploc bag to bag my camera. Now, as some of you know, if you're shooting outside in extreme cold and then you bring your gear into hot, humid conditions, there will be condensation forming inside the camera and the lens, and that's not good. So bagging cameras is a practice that everyone that shoots in cold climates should get used to doing. Now I'm going to spend another video at a later date talking about whether or not just putting the camera into a zippered bag would be just as good as putting it inside of a plastic bag. The way I see it, if you're outside and you've got your camera bag with you outside so that it's also exposed to the same cold, dry air, you put your camera and lens in that bag, close it, zip it up, close the flap, and clip it closed. I can't see that too much air is going to travel inside that bag. Put that in the back seat of your car. By the time you get home, it's going to be at ambient temperature and it's going to be fine. Having said all that, I think it's always a good idea to have a plastic bag along in case you don't have the luxury of a zippered camera bag. Okay? So all of that fits quite nicely in this bag. I can then take this bag, sling it over my shoulder, out of the way. I can do the shoot, and I'm not going to feel like there's anything that I've left behind that I might need. Now, a couple of other little items while I'm at it. Some people like to take a pair of binoculars along. If that's your preference, then by all means, you can hang a pair of binoculars around your neck. One thing that I've gotten in the habit of doing in the summertime is taking along a belt bag with insect repellent, so that if I underestimate how much insect repellent I need, I'll have this belt bag with me. But that's only in special circumstances. The other thing that I think is quite useful is a monopod. Obviously everyone knows that a monopod will help steady a camera in situations where you don't have enough shutter speed. So it's good for that purpose. It also can be good if you extend it. In June, July, when there's lots of spider webs on the trails, you can use it to just clear the webs in front of you as you're walking on the trail. And I'm sure there's a myriad of other purposes that this could have. It's very lightweight, has a lot of uses, has a nice loop on it, so again I can just hang this on my belt or somewhere, keep it along with me on the shoot. And that's about it. So I hope that's been helpful. I'm going to add this video to my blog, and I'm going to open a discussion on that blog so that we can all contribute any ideas we might have to help each other formulate the perfect list of essentials to take when we're shooting in the outdoors.